Alright guys, we're back. We're going to try this again. It's the next day. I decided to take a short break from this game. With all the technical problems I've been having, I just needed to let it cool for a little bit. I'm going to let this cutscene play out because trying to skip it is what made the game crash before, so here we go. It's a cool cutscene. Okay. Yeah, this is annoying. The way he drains my powers like that. Shit. Shit.
No.
Bullet time, save me. Okay, little guys are done. Little guys are done. Time grenade. Time grenade. I can't do my time grenades. Fuck me. Don't think it's having any effect on him. Okay, time grenades are back. Time grenades are back. Bitch! Nope, didn't really do much.
Gotta have some goddamn.
Guessing I can't just freeze him, right? Okay, so time powers don't work, bullets don't really work. He fucking hits me when I'm behind cover. I think I hate this guy. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die because cover doesn't work. Time shield. Time vision. Will you help me with anything? Time vision's not really showing me shit either. Fucking God.
Okay, I gotta find a weak spot.
I wonder if... Maybe I could use focus time to shoot the grenades that he shoots at me. That's gonna be really hard to time out. Oh, I think that actually worked, even without focus time. It's kind of hard to tell. Target the weak point on the Juggernaut's back. I just saw that. I don't know how long that's been up at the top of the screen, but I just saw it. Okay, so... I'll use this to get behind him. Okay.
That's hurting.
I guess I was seriously overcomplicating it. This power seems to still work. Oh shit. I fucked that up. It is a good thing that I already increased the focus time on that ability. Time rush to get behind the Juggernaut and attack his weak point. Alright. Shit, come on. Oh, I gotta let it recharge. Oh, he punched me. Jesus, titty fucking Christ. Okay, here we go, here we go. This should work. No, it ran out again! Fuck! Alright, I'm just gonna chill for a second. Let it come back fully. Come on now. I'm using his own homie for cover. He hit him. Okay, it's time. This isn't working. They told me to get in close and do a melee. Y'all saw it? What if I just run circles around him? You're a big fat ass, you're slow. Alright, here we go. First I'll pop him. And then I'll get in.
That was hardcore.
Okay, he's done. Wow, what a pain in the nuts that was. I'm glad that's over. I was definitely making it harder than it had to be, though. Can I take this? Give me his weapon. This is bullshit. I want to take this whole thing. If I was in this armor, I'd be unstoppable.
Which way is Amron's office?
That's the thing. Alright, give me my ammo. Really? This doesn't refill the light machine gun ammo? Just because? Just because fuck you? That's why? Well, then where'd that shotgun go? I could have sworn I saw a shotgun in here earlier. Ah. Wait, what's this? There it is. Yeah, give me that.
It was clear that Monarch had been building the chronon technology for years. They were prepared for the fracture.
None of it would have been possible without the CFR.
What the hell is that up there? Oh, that's probably something I'll be able to look at once I get up there. Okay. So this is going to be one of those deals where I just have to figure out how to get up there. Let's look at this.
These things were designed by walking tanks.
They weren't for you. Don't flatter yourself.
He's all trying to brag. Yeah, I took that guy out. It only took me like 3 tries and waiting a day, you know, that's all. Alright, so there's over here there's something we can interact with.
Oh, hello.
Okay.
Might be able to get out from here.
What the hell is this? Okay, I guess it doesn't want me to go that way. Thought I screwed myself for a second there. It turns out you can still pass through. Now this... I'll tell you what, the platforming in this game, anything like control-wise is like kind of janky. I don't mean to be like super down on this game, guys, but just like from a technical perspective, it has problems. I have to admit. You've all seen a lot of it.
Guessing this isn't the usual employee route.
And a lot of the platforming and shooting stuff just doesn't feel great. Sad to say. This, I don't know if I can make this, but let's try it. Okay, good. Like, trying to line yourself up for this jump so you don't, like, plummet to the bottom. Okay. I feel like a lot of games are doing that these days.
Office must be close.
They're like, let's make the character feel all sluggish and slow and crabby, because it'll be more realistic. Like, he's not Spider-Man, right? He should feel like a normal guy, but it often just makes for really annoying experiences. Okay. If I walk into the door, that's an instant death. I remember that much. Oh, and I'm in a time dampener, aren't I? Oh, no, I'm not. It just looks weird.
No alarms. Looks like nobody here knows about the mess I made on the way in. Nice job, Beth.
Thank you, Beth. It's very kind of you. I don't actually hear them saying that, what they're saying on the subtitles. I guess they're talking about the lifeboat protocol. You can't select somebody for that and then say that, like, oh, your family's not allowed to come, by the way. Like, who the fuck is gonna go for that? Okay, we got an email here. Is it just the one? Yeah, it is. Okay. From Sophia Amaral to the Monarch team leads. Hello, I've just been informed that the time machine core we obtained from the university has reached Monarch HQ safely and is currently being installed into the new time machine corridor system we have constructed there. As you know, the core of the time machine is the time machine. The corridor around it is merely the user interface. This means, of course, that once the installation work is complete, we have effectively moved the time machine from the university into the Monarch HQ. That said, we don't intend to use it. Let me repeat that there are no current plans to use the machine. We are not sure how safe it would be to use, given that its initial activation has caused the fracture. I personally believe that now that the core has been activated, further use will be safe, but make no mistake, this is a hypothesis, not a proven fact. We know that the machine taps into the universal Meyer-Joyce field, and somehow that connection has caused the fracture in the field, apparently because of a misconfiguration. We are looking into the specifics, but until we know for sure, it would be irresponsible to use the machine. However, having it in place gives us a degree of control. It allows us in an emergency to travel backwards, although we obviously can go no further than to the time of its activation last night, or forwards as might be required. Obviously, being fully secured at our building's restricted area on the top floor also means that nobody else can use the machine. I have to reiterate that the only person who may authorize the use of the time machine is Paul Serene. I do not have that authority. Martin Hash does not have that authority. The only person who does is Mr. Serene. He takes this issue very seriously, and I strongly suggest that you do the same. Okay. Obviously, there are going to be other people that want to use it, but we have to tell them to fuck off. We got a point somewhere close. Is this the way through? No. Okay, from Charlie Wincott to Fiona Miller. What's up, girl? Hold on, let's start from the bottom and read up. Okay, so I had a dream about you last night. It wasn't anything bad, don't worry, but it was pretty fucking weird. Let's just say that if you have a second mouth hidden under your arm that keeps on insisting that the international stock market's being controlled by the Pittsburgh Steelers, this would be a real good time to tell me. I mean, I don't usually have premonitions or anything. I don't believe in that crap, but just the same, I'd hate for that one to turn out to be true. Oh, and also, that mouth eats nothing but sausages, real chompy chomp style. So, you know, there's probably nothing Freudian happening there. Just wanted you to know. What are you up to? Yeah, I was gonna say, there's no way that was the actual dream. He just modified it so that it wouldn't sound nearly as dirty as it actually was, but it still kind of came through there. Fiona replies, Jesus, Charlie, I can tell that you're a man of great sophistication. Did you major in smooth talk, or... Actually, hey, speaking of education, I heard rumors about that op coming up at the university. I know you know, because you always know about that sort of stuff. It sounds pretty serious. What the hell's all that about? And then he's like, well, I don't know, I can't tell you. Well, as far as the university goes... I can't really talk about that. I mean, yeah, obviously I know. I'm like the first person they talk to about something like that, but it's classified. I sure as hell wouldn't put that down in an email, so maybe you should just come down and talk to me. You know, if I was free to talk about it, which I'm obviously not. Bring food. Seriously, I can't talk about it. I don't even want to know how you know about it, but you should still bring me food. Not sausages. Don't make this weird. Charlie. Yeah, I can't talk about it, but I'll put it in an email that I'll talk to you about it off the email. Smart. Smart, dude. Brenner's mug. Check out Burke's contacts. Who's he working with? What? I don't really know what I was supposed to get from that. Is that the symbol for Monarch? Or is that for somebody else? I don't know. If anybody has any insight on that, let me know in the comments, because I think I'm missing something there. Okay guys, bit of a time jump here. I am sad to report that the rest of this commentary was lost due to a technical problem. Luckily, the game footage is still intact. This is the original footage that I recorded, but I lost all the commentary. So what I'm going to do is actually record it after the fact. This is no longer live commentary. I'm just dubbing this over, and I'll put them together. Luckily, most of the rest of this video was just me reading these documents on the computers, because that's really all that's left to do in this act. That, and we'll grab a point at some point, an upgrade point. But anyway, yeah, I'm just going to read through these and keep it going. So Paul Serene had become preoccupied with the appearance of Jack Joyce. Right, I scrolled down to make sure this was the only document on here. He put aside his engagements at tonight's gala in order to focus on some feeble attempt to convert Jack to our cause. This distraction presents us with a perfect opportunity to push our agenda. Tonight we send Monarch into a state of chaos. Tonight we ensure Paul Serene's downfall. I have managed to convince Paul to allow me to deliver the gala speech on his behalf, creating the perfect cover. Steps are as follows. Gala shooting. And this is going to be hard to sync up because I'm not controlling this, but you know. I will be delivering Paul's speech at the gala very soon. I have arranged for an inside resource to fire shots in my direction from a vantage point halfway through the speech, narrowly missing me on stage. This will throw the gala into pandemonium and destabilize Monarch to a point where Paul's authority and control of the situation will be called into question. More immediately, it will force Monarch to initiate security measures that will lead to Sophia Amaral being locked into the nearby Monarch Villa for her protection. Drone sabotage. Stetson will recalibrate Drone A7's flight pattern and cause it to crash directly into the villa, killing Sophia Amaral and therefore removing Paul Serene's only means of developing the treatments necessary for his sickness. Treatment lab demolition. In the aftermath of Amaral's death, I will head an investigation that will allow me to gain access to Dr. Kim's lab where the entirety of Paul's treatments are kept. Demolition charges will be planted and every single treatment will be destroyed. With no further treatments forthcoming, Paul will be rendered helpless. With the stutters happening more and more often, I predict that Paul's sickness will take hold within 6 hours of these events. Only then will we make our final move. So yeah, pretty cool getting a little inside glimpse into what his plan was. He was planning on taking out Dr. Amaral with the drone, but it was only because that was his way of getting rid of Paul Serene. It actually doesn't have anything to do with her. Then we come over and look at this notice board. Friday social, do not use the radar tower entrance as a smoking area. Chronon text wanted, and please return all used cups to the kitchen. Return your cups so nobody has to die. I think it's kind of hilarious to put something like that on a work bulletin board. That seems like a great way to get yourself sued. But what the hell do I know? Yeah, this feels really, really weird. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think this is the first time I've ever done this. Like, dubbed over it after the fact. Look at that guy's face. Looks like an asshole. Fuck that guy. Alright, next document. From Fiona Miller to Beth Wilder. Our plans might actually overlap for once. You know what? I think I actually scrolled to the bottom. Yeah, because there's multiple emails in this chain. So, to Beth from Fiona, I just got word that Jack Joyce is in Monarch custody, walked right into the mansion on Gull Island and gave himself up. What the hell are you two up to? If you want my help from the inside, then I need to know what's going on. And then Beth replies, yeah, oops. I'm sure you noticed that things didn't go exactly according to plan at Ground Zero. Seems like a running theme tonight. Can't go into details now, but we found something that I believe is the key to retrieving the countermeasure. The solution is in sight, but we need to kidnap Sophia Amaral in order to get to work. Jack gave himself up as part of a plan to get him inside. I'm on my way to release him so he can get to Amaral. A poor man's Trojan horse. Desperate times, desperate measures. What's your status? Any update on the Dr. Kim lead? We may need your help from inside to pull this off. Any chance you can lower security in and around the R&D facility? And then lastly, Fiona replies, our plans might actually overlap for once. I'm going to attempt to access Dr. Kim's lab tonight during the gala to find out if he knew about the countermeasure. I still think that's our strongest lead. However, if I get inside, I should be able to shut down some of the security measures from inside. The problem is that getting inside that lab might prove to be a long shot. Couldn't get a hold of Amaral's keycard, so I've resorted to shameless flirting in order to find a means in. I'm going to the gala as Charlie Wincott's date in hopes that he can get me inside. That's if I can hold back from punching out the douche for that long. Consider this a test of restraint. I know that you think Jack is the key to obtaining the countermeasure, but the evidence is really stacking up that Dr. Kim knew something about the device. All of the research he did in that lab is classified. They're hiding something big in there. I'll let you know what I find. I'd warn you that your plan on the island sounds reckless, but I'm sure you're fully aware. Keep in mind that the minute Dr. Amaral goes missing, the entirety of Monarch is going to be hunting you down. That she is the only thing keeping Serene alive. He won't let her go without a fight. Keep safe. Ooh, 12 out of 17. Most of this video is just these, so I was kind of self-conscious about that. It's like there's no actual like gameplay to speak of, but that actually makes this easier to correct. So I'm actually kind of grateful for that. And here we have instructions for tonight from Martin Hatch. People, it appears we have been overtaken by events and we have had to adjust our plans accordingly. As you are no doubt aware, I had to scroll down to see if this was the only thing. We now have Jack Joyce in custody. He gave himself up earlier today. As Mr. Serene has a personal interest in Joyce and the information he might have, he will be interrogating him at the detention center on the island. Unfortunately, this means that Mr. Serene cannot be there for the speech he was scheduled to give at the gala event tonight, so I will have to stand in for him. I have some new security requirements pertaining to that, but I will discuss those with specific individuals in person. Furthermore, be aware that in addition to Joyce, we also have Liam Burke held at the detention center. Despite his long service to Monarch, Burke is now to be considered hostile and has already done quite a bit of damage to us. I shouldn't have to say this, but just to be absolutely clear, any orders given by him should be ignored. Please ensure that Joyce is ready for Mr. Serene. Also, please bear in mind that Joyce is Chronon active and extremely dangerous. He has given himself up voluntarily, so it's entirely possible he doesn't intend to cause trouble, but let's make sure we're prepared if he does. We don't know his motivations, and I would not put it past him to use his surrender as a means to exact a hidden agenda. Martin Hatch. Yeah, that really strikes me. That's real, what's the word? Perceptive there of you, buddy. He might have a hidden agenda. He might have a plan in mind. I don't know. I really like how that dude in another document made it sound like he was the one who convinced Littlefinger to let him give the speech. It's like, nah, bro, that was like the first thing that he asked you after I made that decision. He was like, you're going to have to do this. And then he all presents it like it was like his call. Nah, fuck that. So I think at this point, I realized that There was a point very close by, and I walked over here. I didn't see it, and I was really scared of advancing the story or like triggering a cutscene that wouldn't let me come back, so I'm like creeping along. And then I looked down and I noticed it's down there. And I was like, ah, shit, I guess I can actually reach that area. I didn't realize that before. So we're actually going to head back down there and go grab that upgrade point.
The gear Beth wanted was supposed to be in Dr. Amaril's office. I had to get it for her before I left.
And Jack bitches about not grabbing the equipment that was right in that room. I wasn't sure if I could walk through there or not. It looks like a like a real like radiation area. Like I was just going to die from walking into it. But I didn't. Looking around at these lockers. And there it is. 8 out of 8 Chronon sources found. What up, bitches? I finally got 100% of the upgrade points.
Guns made to operate in a stutter. Paul had clear priorities. When time ends, guns don't.
Yeah, I think that's very smart. If we have the ability to make guns that can still work in a time stutter, everybody should have them. Including me. I should steal them.
It was technology that allowed people to move inside a stutter.
But too heavy to carry, I assume.
That's why I had to find the lighter model in Amaril's office.
Which I don't really understand. If they have a lighter model, why wouldn't they just give those to everybody?
I couldn't leave the offices before locating Dr. Amaral.
So this spot right here is actually where the chapter is going to end. I keep calling them chapters. They're acts. Acts and parts. I don't know why I do that. I guess it doesn't really matter. But yeah, we actually have a lot left to do. We have to go upstairs and read all the rest of those documents. There's actually one that's really good information, so I didn't want to leave it out. I know some people really like to hear all these, like to hear me read them, because a lot of Let's Players don't do that. And I get why, but that's not the kind of Let's Player that I want to be. I actually like going through all this stuff, because I think it adds, you know, good context to the story and things like that. So the CFR briefing from Dr. Sophia Amaral. It's no exaggeration to say that the Chronon Field Regulator, or the CFR, is at the heart of all of Monarch's technological advances. It has taken on a somewhat mythical quality, given its origins and the vital role it plays in the Lifeboat project, but in actuality, the CFR's applications are very practical. That's not to say the CFR hasn't had a course-altering impact on the work Monarch's solution does. It's been hugely influential in the development of both the stutter-proofing technology that allows us to shield large areas from the effects of a zero state, enabling time to keep flowing within them even as it stops everywhere else, as well as the smaller, personalized application of the same technology, the portable Chronon harnesses that allow our soldiers and technicians to operate freely within stutters. We think of Dr. Henry Kim as the father of all this technology, and deservedly so, but for all of his brilliance, it was his dedication to uncovering the secrets of the CFR that allowed him to make his breakthroughs. Despite Dr. Kim's hard work, the CFR's functionality is still not fully understood, and we have not been able to replicate the device. Having more than one of them would obviously be greatly advantageous to us, but we find ourselves in a precarious position where in order to fully investigate it, we would have to take it apart. Given its immense power, such an undertaking would pose obvious risks. Perhaps even more importantly, there's no guarantee that we would be able to put it back together again. Given that it's vital to the implementation of the Lifeboat Protocol, it's our policy to leave it intact. We do know, however, that the CFR can not only store an immense amount of Chronon particles, it can also tap into the Meyer-Joyce field and with great precision manipulate it. It's this unique ability that our own Chronon technology replicates, albeit at far less control and efficiency. It's also what makes the Lifeboat Protocol a reality. By itself, our stutter-proofing technology is powerful and reliable, but its rate of Chronon particle consumption is high, and it increases at an alarming rate as we widen the volume of space the stutter-proofing covers. This would, on the face of it, make the stutter-proofing a very temporary solution indeed, one that could perhaps buy us some subjective weeks once we enter a permanent zero state, but which would ultimately only delay the inevitable. However, the CFR changes all of that. When the permanent stutter-proofing installed on the lifeboat, indeed, the very stutter-proofing that makes the lifeboat in the first place, is directed by the CFR, the system becomes vastly more efficient. Our Chronon particle consumption is reduced to around 1% of what it otherwise would be, given that Chronon particles are hard to source, even at our ground zero installation, and our stockpiles are decidedly limited. This means that the CFR makes the difference between lifeboat being a temporary stopgap solution or a very long-term undertaking that hopefully allows us to eventually find a solution to the end of time. That was a lot of info in there. That's all the intel objects, luckily. Alright. Chronon disrupted wave function subjects, aka shifters. This is the good one. I scrolled the whole way down to make sure it was all one long document. I've been trying to read them in order when they pull that email shit. Okay, slide 1. Much of what we know about the shifters is theoretical, based on observations made by Mr. Serene and the limited experimentation we have been able to conduct on the only subject we have managed to capture. They do not seem to have a stable physical presence. Rather, the data we are gathering appears to be fragmented and contradictory, as if there were countless versions of the subject occupying the same space. Our current theory is that they somehow exist in a persistent state of quantum superposition. Or to put it another way, with reference to the famous Schrodinger's cat thought experiment, the cat is both alive and dead at the same time. The full mechanics and implications of this exceed our current understanding, but on a practical level, it seems to make them highly resistant to injury. It appears that even if the shifter encounters deadly force, it may kill one of its aspects, but because it exists as multiple iterations of itself, including iterations that were not killed by the force, it doesn't stop. Current theory suggests that the only way to stop a shifter is to cause its wave function to collapse from the superposition to a single eigenstate. I still don't know how to pronounce that. I'm going to go with eigenstate. In practical terms, the shifter must be affected with deadly force enough times for it to run out of healthy versions of itself. As such, direct confrontation with the shifter should be a last resort. Slide 2. Contact with a shifter is extremely dangerous. We know that they are essentially mobile repositories of vast amounts of chronon particles and that they can only exist in a zero state, an area which has been depleted of chronon particles, typically by a fault in the Mayer-Joyce field that encompasses the universe. Colloquially, we refer to these as stutters in time. We also know that shifters are hostile to any source of chronon particles other than themselves within stutters, so any chronon-active individual within a stutter may find themselves targeted by shifters. It appears that movement is in stutters, which would mean the very movement of particles within the space in which time flows, not merely the movement of an individual, disturbs them, and they respond with considerable aggression. As discussed previously, shifters are extremely resistant to damage. They are also quite physically formidable, but their biggest threat is the distortion field around them. Its exact nature is unknown, but we know it warps the properties of the space surrounding them, exerting great physical stress and unpredictable forces on its surroundings. Again, in practical terms, close proximity to a shifter may be fatal, even if no actual physical contact takes place. That's important to know. Slide 3. The stutter-proofing technology Monarch Solutions has advanced offers solid protection against shifters. Time flows normally within a stutter-proofed area, so shifters simply cannot exist within them. Therefore, as long as stutter-proofing remains active, shifters are not a problem. However, stutter-proofing of large outside areas is not feasible given our chronon particle budget, so we have developed other technology to defend against shifters. The chronon dampeners. Fuck those things. A chronon dampener works by annihilating free-floating chronon particles within a specified area. As shifters' forms are hypersaturated with chronon particles, they cannot enter an area in which a chronon dampener is active without their wave functions collapsing. Therefore, our operatives in the field have a solid portable defense against shifters. Our own technology is shielded against the dampener's effects, so activities and stutters undertaken by our strikers and other operatives are not hindered. However, as an unfortunate side effect, the dampeners have a crippling effect on individuals who are chronon active without the aid of technology. Accordingly, should Mr. Serene be present, you should always make him aware of your intentions before activating the dampener. You may rest assured that the dampener is not powerful enough to do actual physical harm to Mr. Serene, whose system constantly produces new chronon particles to replace the ones that are lost, but as the dampener's effects are unpleasant and enervating, such an encounter is likely to lead to an awkward conversation about future career prospects. Wow. I like this one because it had a funny ending, and it was just a lot of good information. Knowing exactly what shifters are and how to kill them, and the fact that they can kill you just by touching you when you're in the stutter, but knowing that you have to just basically pump a shitload of rounds into them as the method to kill them, that's good info.
That there looks like what Beth wanted. Oh, shit. Emerald's at the party. The stutter won't last. I better find a way out of here and get to the party.
That thing's wrong, though, because we read in a document that Dr. Amaral's not at the party, she's at the villa. So, projected fracture progression. We've looked at the preliminary data on the frequency and severity of the stutters and crunched the numbers, and the results are alarming. Our original projection, which gave us years until the fracture reached the point where time breaks down completely, does not match up with the progression of stutters we are experiencing. Put simply, the stutters are happening more and more frequently, clearly indicating that the Mayer-Joyce field is breaking down much faster than we thought. Taking the rate of acceleration, we can hypothesize that we might have as little as 24 hours till we reach the end of time, or the point at which time stops and no longer starts up again. We do not know why the original projection was wrong and why that data, which we do consider reliable, coming as it does from Mr. Serene, seems to entirely contradict our current findings. Regardless, the main issue seems clear. In order to achieve Monarch Solutions' stated goals, Lifeboat Protocol should be activated ASAP. So it sounds like they originally thought that they were going to have years after the time fracture to get this shit together. And I don't know. That seems like they were off by a lot.
Yeah, Amaral had tried to warn Paul. The end of time was approaching quickly. Less than 24 hours away.
Mr. Serene believed it would take years to run its course. Admittedly, he was wrong.
Yeah, but he corrected himself. Okay, from Sophia to Paul Serene. As promised in our latest session, I am now going to transcribe what I recall from my dreams. I still have doubts that this exercise will help alleviate my symptoms, but I'm willing to explore the idea further if you truly believe in its merit. For someone who is not a medical doctor, let alone a mental health professional, you seem to take great interest in my thoughts. Not that I don't appreciate it. Quit hitting on your doctor, you sleazebag. Here's my first attempt. I recall a haunting image of 7 red doors. Each door had a wrought iron handle that was dripping liquid metal onto the ground, creating a pool in the middle of the room. I looked down into the aqueous metallic glow at my feet to see my own glimmering reflection, revealing that I had aged half a lifetime. Startled, I looked back up to discover that only one door remained. Jack Joyce stood in front of it. The heat in the room was overwhelming. Jack was sweating profusely, his skin red and peeling open. He begged me to take him back home, but there was no door leading home. I opened the only door left and entered, discovering that we were back in the same room we had just exited. He refused to come to terms with this and opened the door again. I followed him over and over as he desperately followed the doors, forever leading us back to where we started. The heat grew and he howled in pain, begging to know why I made the other doors disappear and why there was only one path. He begged me to bring the other doors back. He begged me to take him home. That reminds me a lot of PT, and it terrifies me. I don't like it. The iron pool burst into flames. Jack screamed in agony. I grabbed him and told him that we needed to learn to endure the heat, to embrace the flame. I knew it would come to pass eventually, but the only way to survive it was to accept its inevitability. My body began swaying rapidly, dancing to the movement of the flames around me until my bones faded out of existence, and I surrendered to the fire until we were one and the same. I was no longer one being in one place and time. My life force spread evenly across the flames until I was no longer an individual in one body, but a grander shifting entity. I could feel Jack being consumed within my essence. I felt a power within the heat, a clarity of intent. I forgot about my desire to ever return from the flames because the body that once desired to return was lost forever. I became the very thing that I entered, and it became me, a cyclical fury chasing itself. Ouroboros. I woke up in a cold sweat. I quickly wrote down words that poisoned my mind in that moment. Delmore Schwartz was right. Time is the fire. I have no idea how to interpret that dream. That's some crazy shit. I don't even know what else to say about that. And then Sophia says, with Jack Joyce in our custody, I thought it was relevant to forward you a message you sent me years ago. Do not underestimate the significance he holds in your life. I understand your concern that he is reluctant to accept the inevitability of what is coming. However, when he sees the whole picture, he'll have no choice but to believe. We've all had our doubts once. You showed us the light. Give him time. Yeah, I don't think that's really how it's going to work. When you consider, I really like that line that Jack had in the last video, or the 2 videos ago, I guess, the live episode TV show, when he said that in all the things you've seen in the future, have you ever noticed me stopping before I killed you? And I was like, yeah, that's a good line. Now we know, we know how determined he is. Here we come across a lady who's actually playing Alan Wake on her computer, which is fucking awesome, because that game's great. That was Remedy's last game that they put out before this one. I might actually play that on my channel sometime. And the last document here, from Martin Hatch, The Purpose of the Gala, to Monarch Team Leads. Again, I'm just scrolling down to see how long it is and if there's anything to read first. Okay, it has been brought to my attention that there is some confusion as to the reason for the upcoming evening gala on Gull Island. I understand that some feel that such a celebration is frivolous, even misguided in the aftermath of last night's events at Riverport University and the now present, steadily advancing fracture in time. These concerns are understandable, but they are missing the bigger picture. Monarch Solutions is now entering a phase in which its true purpose will be fulfilled. We have finally arrived at the moment for which we have spent years preparing. The purpose of this event is twofold. First of all, for those selected to be a part of the Lifeboat Project as scientists, technicians, support personnel, or in some other role, it will be important to see and hear Paul Serene. Continued confidence in the survival program is vital for the continued survival of Monarch and ultimately the human race itself. This is particularly important given recent events. We need to present a desirable and reassuring counterpoint to the sacrifices we've had to make. Naturally, not everybody at the party will be among the chosen few, so a certain degree of informational hygiene will be required. I trust you will ensure that those reporting to you are informed precisely to the degree necessary. I don't know what informational hygiene is. I'm pretty sure that's not a real thing. Secondly, for all of our autonomy and vast resources, Monarch is not functionally independent. And I guess I was lagging behind. Here we go. Functionally independent from the rest of society. In order for our plans to succeed, we will need the support and cooperation of the authorities and numerous business partners, even though they don't know our true goals. A demonstration of power and confidence, as well as certain judicious investments of currency and influence, will go a long way towards securing that support. Our PR blitz has been working well, but in order to maintain momentum, we must maintain an amicable relationship with Riverport's leadership. Our entire approach is based on the idea of Monarch stepping in to assist the authorities and being welcomed by citizens and city administration alike. Should the latter suddenly declare Monarch's help unwanted or unsanctioned, our entire strategy could collapse in just a few hours. That would be disastrous to our plans. In conclusion, this is a tremendously important event for the future of Monarch Solutions and for the future itself. If there are any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Martin Hatch. So, this one I felt like didn't really add a whole lot to the context of what's going on. And I was kind of like, why does this exist? Like, it's just extra busy work, and it didn't really... lead anywhere or like add anything. But then I was like, wait a minute, that specifically mentions the PR campaign that they waged, which was a junction choice. So that kind of made me realize those choices not only affect like the overarching things in the story, but they're also going to affect the documents that you find and the things that you collect. So there actually is what would probably be a fair amount of replay value.
Bill me. I knew Beth's cover wouldn't last long. Had to get it to her at the party before it was too late.
Right. A fair amount of replay value, if you're the kind of guy that likes collecting and reading those types of things like I am, there's going to be different ones. So I came into the menu and looked, and apparently I had 100% of collection on this part of this act, which is awesome. Besides the first part, I think that might be the first time I've done that. Now I was confused because at one point, you can see that one right there, the quantum ripples. I thought I had missed that. I had actually collected things after it and it was still gray, but I guess I somehow got it after the fact. I'm not sure how it worked. I don't remember activating that, but I have it. I have 100%. So I'm pretty happy about that. That makes me a badass. And I also went in here and just showed that we have 3 points available right now. I'm not going to buy anything because I'm waiting to get 6 points to buy the reduced cooldown on the Time Blast, because I love that ability and I want to be able to use it as much as possible. So anyways, guys, that pretty much does it for this act. Thanks for watching. Sorry about the technical hiccup, but hope you enjoyed. Come back for the next part. See ya.